Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of On the Mic with Mike. I'm your host, Mike Larkin, and joining me today is adult star and content creator, and an amazing one at that, the one, the only Miss Amazon Leee for round two. It has been a while. It's a pleasure to see your awesomeness. How are you, Amazon Leee?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, feeling good. Last time we talked, ladies and gentlemen, was about 2 years ago, but I got to say, time does fly, and time has been good to us both. You know, we've both gone through a lot, both in our lives, but the main thing is we are here now, and God is good. First and foremost, it's great to see your face once again because you've been doing some awesome work.
Thank you. It's good to see you. I can't believe it 2 years.
2 years, man. 2 years, right?
Wow. That's crazy.
It is, but I think and still at the time too as well. I mean, where you are in your life, I always say to people, it doesn't matter whether it be years, months, or what have you. It's always great to catch up, number one, but number two, a lot does happen, and I think that even just tells you, even in life, not only just to count your blessings, but also just continue on your path because the journey's worth taking, right?
Oh yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Absolutely. And the journey has taken you to a lot of great stuff that we're going to get into in today's forum. But I will say this, and I think you can also equate with me on this. When you look at the adult entertainment industry as a whole, especially with content creation, how awesome is it to see just the evolution of where we were with porn as a whole to where we had like websites, but now we have streaming and OnlyFans and many bits. That's really gone a lot of ways for content creators nowadays.
It really has. It's allowed people to really connect with their fans, I think, and give them more of what they want to see from you, not just what you feel like making.
Agreed. I think it's one of those things I've always equated to. If you really look at it, besides the fact of the C's, like the content creation, it's all about the community too. And I mean, when people look at OnlyFans, they automatically go to the adult side of things. But I think people don't even realize the community that comes with it, because there are a lot of people that do like preferences, unique preferences at that, but also different fetishes, customs, what have you. It does bring a lot of variety to the table.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I love that. I love that people are like, hey, can you do this for me? Do you know so-and-so you can work with them? Like, I love that they network almost for me to a certain degree. Hey, can you get in touch with this person and make this happen for me? Hell yeah. Like, it makes me so happy. I've been doing a lot of size comparison and boxing and different stuff with a girl named Coven. And she's wonderful. And we have been putting in a lot of effort in making stuff for people that want custom stuff, that things that I would not have thought of to do.
Let's talk about Coven here, because I'm glad you brought her up. She, for those who have not checked out Coven's work in Coven Studios, like you mentioned, the size and stature between the two, the David and the Goliath type of vibes here. What I really do love about what she does is not only the fact that she's a doggone professional, she really takes her craft and her overall craft seriously with everything that she does in all aspects. But I got to ask you, because I've seen the clips. I've seen the clips for sales. I've seen everything that goes into the work. Can we talk about working with her? Because I got to say, like, it gives you also a chance to showcase the athleticism, the prowl, the boxing, but also include that sensuality side from both of you ladies respectively. Like, how awesome is that to really take that unique approach and go that way with it?
It's a lot of fun. It is a lot. She makes it really enjoyable to work with her. She's laid back, but professional. And, if I need a break or something, like, hey, like, I'm having a little bit of anxiety right now because I really don't want to hurt you. She's like, okay, yeah, take a minute, whatever you got to do, and she's very hospitable, which is fantastic. And she just gives off an all over good vibe. So working with her is super easy.
I think what I love about it too, as well as first and foremost, for those who have not seen like the lift and carry that y'all do, like I said, it's like literally, it's like a baby in your hand, to be completely honest with you. I mean that with the utmost sincerity and respect. I think that imagery and the overall stance that goes with the content is very enjoyable, number one. But also number two, I think in your stance as well, what I love about it too as well is not just the adult side of what you do, but the content creation of really doing that. And we mentioned the variety earlier here. That really goes a long way, because there's something for everybody in this world. And I think for those who may not be on the up and up or in the know about it, really can gravitate and really go towards that realm, and people can really expand their horizons. Especially, I think you can concur with how the adult entertainment industry is and how people would share kind of like their kinks and fetishes, kind of like the taboo vibes like we had back in the day, really more normalized now in the year 2024.
Oh yeah, a lot of different fetishes and kinks are really getting normalized, which I like. You know, like it's okay to be into really tall women. It's okay to be into the plus size girls. It's okay to, like whatever you like, and not be shamed for it. People are like, "Oh, well that's not my thing," but more power to you if it's yours. And I love that. It makes it I love the community that it comes with when you can be yourself around other people and then make something that someone else enjoys.
I got to ask this because first of all, I love how you put that into perspective. So blunt, so honest, and very true and honest. But what I love about it too, as well, is I always look at it like this, and I've always used this example. When we're kids, when we're in our teenage years, ladies and gentlemen, as we grow into adulthood, we build our overall foundation, who we are, and the essence of our overall being. I always use it like this, and I'll say this with the utmost sincerity, respect, and bluntness, ladies and gentlemen. The women that have gravitated towards me and the women who I've had connections with, as with guys and girls, or girls and guys, however, you have to look at it like this. It doesn't matter the size. It doesn't matter what have you. You've had that instant connection, that relationship, that bond, friendship, however you want to identify it. It's wonderful. And you really are in that moment. And I could say as a teenager, especially into my adulthood, a lot of girls that have gravitated towards me are the voluptuosity factor. And I'm putting the BBWs over, including this one over here with her awesomeness. It's the vibe, man. Y'all got that spice. Y'all got that vibes and confidence. And I got to say, shout out to all the big girls, man, just because it's awesome to see that. Y'all bring a lot to the table and we love it. So yes, shout out.
Right? Hey, I'm all for it. And I love chunky men too. Like people always ask me, "Oh, what's your type?" And I'm like, good souls and a good laugh. Like I really don't have a physical, type. I like everyone. And if until you give me a reason not to like you, I will give you a chance in any way, in any capacity, to work, personal, friends, something more. I love people and I love to get to know people until they give me a reason not to. So when everybody's like, "Oh, I guess I wasn't your type." No, no, that it didn't start off that way. I don't, physically attractive has nothing to do with it for me. I just ran into that problem the other day. Somebody was like, "Oh, if it weren't for professionalism, you wouldn't have anything to do with me." I'm like, "No, it's your personality that kind of sucks."
And sometimes you have to be blunt and tell people that. And I hate to tell this to people. And I mean, it's a united, not divided front, as I believe we should have in this world. But also at the end of the day, if you're just going to come off, and I'm going to use this word, if you come off with the bitch assness, to be completely and blunt honest with you, you're going to get bitch assness back. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's how it is. And I think, and sometimes people, I think we misconstrue a lot of things, but in this particular case, this is not misconstrued. This is just people being doggone, just rude. And it's not like that. I look at it, if you go into a conversation, if you're professional people, you have to look at it like everything in life is a business. How you want to conduct yourself, whether you're in a job interview or a business setting or just in an overall setting, professionalism, accommodation, and comfortability is key, especially with the opposite sex in general. It's like, why do you want to start off a relationship with bitch assness? Then put that on a t-shirt. Why do you want to start your relationship off with bitch assness?
Thank you.
I don't understand it.
Thank you. Because it's the truth. Like people think because I'm a content creator, and I do adult things, that they can just come up to me and be like, "Hey, you want to hook up?" That's no. Are you going to sign a 2257?
Right.
Like that's the only way it's going down, because I'm a person. I care about vibes and personality and things like that, even when it comes to who I'm going to work with. Like I'm just not, you can't just come to me like, "Hey, let's work together," and I don't get a good, essence about you. I may not work with you, because that's everything to me. And when people come off like, "Oh, like I'm just like, I'm going to put it, a piece of meat," I don't want to be looked at that way. I want to be looked at as a person still, despite my job. Like I'm not going to look at the trash man and go, like they're just a trash man. I'm going to look at them like a regular person first, and then be like, super cool that your job is picking up trash, because thank you. But it's, the bitch assness is killing me.
I like your style, and I like the bitch ass. This is killing me. Okay, I'll follow up with this because you again, we bring a great topic, but also, folks, this is self awareness to what you have in business, especially content creation. So I'll follow up with that. It's like when I'll equate this. All right, you equate a trash man, right? It's like somebody who's in like a high profile job in their office, and they look down upon because the little people they look down upon the trash man or a janitor. It's like, wait a second here, the trash man is keeping trash and the environment and your street and everything clean, and the janitor, if you're a janitor in a school, that janitor is making sure that that child's desk is clean, that classroom's clean, so you can have the ability to teach. And so these kids don't get doggone sick, for God's sake. So they're providing a service, not a disservice into life. So as long as you're providing with your overall personality and your foundation and your overall skill level and job and development, that's the purpose. You have to have a service and don't be a disservice into this world, and everything that you do that really brings everything into the forefront. And I mean, to really go off of that too, with, I mean, unfortunately in this day and age, and I it's unfortunate to really put it like this, there are gentlemen and there are people that look at content creators like a piece of meat. And the reason why I put it to perspective like that is you equate it to pop culture, right? You look at a movie like Mr. Woodcock, right? And yes, I'm going the Billy Bob Thornton route with Susan Sarandon for those that remember that movie. It's like when Ethan Suplee, right? He's in the house and they're filming Mr. Woodcock, and then he catches up with Ethan Suplee in the car going, yeah, I know whatever his name was, Farley's mom is old and shit, but I just want to stick my head in between those two old biddies and go, "Ooh." You don't go up to somebody and just start going, "Ooh." That's the thing. When you meet a woman or a content creator, you just don't start motorboating like it's friggin' Vince Vaughn and Wedding Crashers, for God's sake. You have to have an open line of communication. So that was
And that's exactly it. Just like you're not going to walk up to a man and touch his beard like out of nowhere. I don't know you, but here, let me fondle your beard. I'm going to put my hands all over your face. No, it's unacceptable. I'm
Excuse me while I
still
stroke
a
the beard.
person. I love beards. I do. I'm a beard girl too. I do love the facial hair. But like working with people with facial hair really is like, yeah, let's do it. Let me put my hands in your beard. But I always ask first. Even though that's what we're doing, I still ask. Because asking consent is key.
Yes, very much so. And yes, I look at it like this too, as well. And I could say someone who is starting to grow the beard back. I will say this: I have gone both ways, but I got to tell you something, folks. The beard is a very comfortable and nice little feel on the skin here. You know what I'm saying? So for those who do want to try to grow a beard, do your best to, because it's very comfortable. It's nice. Just make sure you keep it kept. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Nice.
Keep it tight.
Keep it tight. And that's really how you have to look at it. And I think in today's day and age, especially with when you look at the modeling standpoint too, as well, like we've gone from the passage of the days of the Tyra Bankses and Naomi Campbells, who are still smoking, by the way. Let's put that to the forefront. But then you get to the plus size models like your Ashley Grahams and so many women like that. I think that's another thing that I love about just women in content creation, much like yourself, Miss Amazon Leee, and your tallness and your Amazonianness. Yes, I made that word into the forefront, the Amazonianness and everything that goes into it. I think everybody, it's great to see the diversity, the uniqueness, and we have come along from a day and age of where it's just like we need a specific type of, vibe, but then it's like, fuck that vibe. Let's do our own vibes.
Exactly. Like, fuck that box. I don't need to fit into it. I can fit around it. I can have space inside of it. I can be who I want to be. And I love that.
And I think what I got to say that I love about you, ma'am, is the content creation is key, and it's strong in this one with Miss Amazon Leee. You did a thing with Jacob's Summer Fling, which I got to say, first and foremost, a very hot scene. I wanted to bring this into the forefront. If you've not checked her out on ManyVids OnlyFans, and if you just want to Google search and check out Amazon Leee, you are in for a treat. I got to ask you about this particular film first, because I got to say, very hot, very sensual, and it really is. You got some nice lingerie going. Very on point, man.
Oh, yeah. I loved it. Working with Jacob is so much fun. He makes everything super enjoyable, and he's got a good vibe about him too. That's why I've repeatedly worked with him and will continue to repeatedly work with him, because he's a good person. He's very open to other people's ideas. He directs without being bossy. He's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Let's do this. And then we're going to do this. And then we're going to do that. But he makes it something to smile about. And then he very much cares about, showmanship and making sure that other people are going to enjoy it as well. And I love that. And he brings out the best in me, I think.
I would say so. I got to say, the smiles and the overall exuberance that shows on your screen within your work definitely does showcase that within your work, Miss Amazon Lee. And I have to say this into the forefront as well. I think what I like about that showmanship and that overall mantra that really goes into it, I look at it like this, folks. You love hard, but you respect harder. You love yourself and you love your people, but the respect and the showmanship is so key. So love hard, respect harder, so to speak.
Oh yeah, I most definitely.
And that's really how you have to look at it. And I got to say, another film that you did was very awesome was with Adam Castle. Came out amazing as well. I wanted to ask about that one because, god dang, man, you don't stop, man. And I love the grind that goes into it. But I really did enjoy that scene as well. Talk about working with Adam because y'all clicked and the synergy was on point.
Oh yeah, Adam is super sweet and very laid back about, like, okay, we can take our time, we can do this, and it was a really fun scene to shoot. It was it was very organic, and I had a good time doing it. He's a sweet man. I look forward to working with him again as well.
I think with each and every one of the scenes that you have, you make the most of your time, number one, but you're in the moment. And I think that really does translate what every adult film should be, is translating and being in the moment, and also have some fun storytelling and creativity at the same time.
Oh yeah, because sometimes like the outtakes or whatever you want to call them are hilarious, and just it's fun. Like we laugh and we have a good time doing it. And Nikki Skoy, she was filming me. She goes, I love that you smile during your scenes. She goes, a lot of people take it too seriously and don't enjoy it, don't show that they're enjoying it. And she goes, well, your smile is really nice, and it's really good to see on camera you smiling and looking like you're having a good time. I was like, well, I am having a good time. So that's a big deal to me. And working with all the people I've worked with, they all make me smile. I have not come across a person that I did not enjoy working with.
I look at it like this. For first and foremost, and I could tell this as well, folks, by talking to this lovely human being, and we've talked off air. I think the bubbliness and your not over just energy and just your overall, dare I say, panache that goes into what you do. I say that with the utmost humble and respectfully towards you, ma'am. Is you have a good vibe about you, like we talked about good vibes in this forum. But I could tell even just your overall energy goes into it. And besides the smiling factor, I like that you brought that point up because it's like when you're younger too, right? And we'll go to the Skinamax route here, ladies and gentlemen. When you're watching Cinemax as like a teenager at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And one of the examples I always give is like there was a adult star back in the day by Nicole Sheridan, right? Her husband, I believe his name was Willow at the time, Widow or Willow or something like that. They would do scenes, but it's just like you would never engage your smile. It was always just raw and intense and passion, which is great. But if you also showcase, it's all about evoking emotions and eliciting reactions, right? If you have the facial expressions, that shows like, okay, they're into this scene. It's the moment. It's just like, okay, we got to get this dicking done. Here's the scene. Boom. You have to have not only just the spontaneity to it, but you also have that eruption and that seduction, so to speak, that goes into it.
Oh yeah. Like, there was a scene I did with Thor Johnson, and in the middle he goes, oh, I really like fucking you. I was like, I like fucking you too. And we laughed and it was good, and it was a little bit of spontaneity, and we had real emotion with it, which made, I think, the scene that much more enjoyable to watch. And I think that's an important part, is making things enjoyable to watch.
And especially, and I will say this, in today's day and age, I think the adult side of things, like we talk about normalizing and more or less taboo than it was back in the day. I think in today's day and age, if something like that can bring joy to people and not just the fact that it's just adult entertainment, because who doesn't love some adult entertainment? But at the same time, if you're bringing joy to people, no whatever facet of life that it may be, as long as you're not hurting one, fucking enjoy it. Number one, to put it bluntly. But number two, it's like stuff like that really is engaging and it really does gravitate people. You have to do that no matter what it is in life, and fuck what everybody else says, to put it in the bluntest of terms.
Exactly. You coined it perfectly.
Well, you have to. And I've always said this about people, because there are people not only that turn their nose up at a lot of stuff, but it's like if you're really looking at it from a, all right, we'll look at it this lens. We'll go this route. Look at the joy of painting, right? God rest his soul, Bob Ross. Man had a Jufro. He would come on at like in the afternoon. I used to remember it after school. The man would paint like a little spitty spot here, and then by the end of the friggin' show. You got waterfalls and mountains and trees and all this shiznit up in here. But at the same time, it's like how he enjoys in that 30 minutes that you get a friggin' masterpiece and a landscape, for God's sake. How he enjoys and how he views that lens is how you not only you should view women, but also how you should view the art form that is adult entertainment, everything around you. Music's an art form. Sports are an art form. Everything is an art form. You just have to see it through the right lens.
Exactly. Exactly. I could not have explained that better. I really can't. And one of my favorite things about Bob Ross is like, oh, he made a mistake. Let's turn it into a bird.
It's so true, though. That's great.
And it's great. And his paintings always came out beautiful. He took something that was, was a mistake and turned it into a bird, made it fly, made it beautiful, and added to his painting. And I think that's what a lot of some of the clips that I make, where, giggling is involved, or, like laughing about dirty dishes and getting in trouble for them. I think all of that just adds to what I'm doing.
Look at it like this. When Matt Rife, and I know he's a very popular comedian now, he's been all over TikToks and we see samples. It's like when he was like, I'm scrolling through Pornhub and I'm thinking to myself, what's a porn that I haven't seen, right? And he tells a joke. He sets it up perfectly. He's like, there's this one film and it's a POV scene. And I had to look it up because I'm like, okay, now he's got me hooked. Like, I need to know what scene he's talking about. And for those that don't know, it's a scene where the guy's like cooking eggs. And it's a kitchen scene, right? He's cooking eggs and he's like making an omelet or some shit. And then the girl, who is like the stepdaughter or whatever she is, she's like, I really want to go on this field trip. But your mother said you can, but I really want to go this field trip. And he's like, what can I do, to get on this field trip? And she's like, well, how bad do you really want to go on this field trip? So it's a seduction type of POV film and stuff like that. People get engaged with just because it's something like, well, how bad do you really want to go on the field trip? And then the pants go down, boom, we have a scene. That is what it brings us to. The simplest of things, whether it's like a 5 to 10 minute POV film, there's something for everybody, man.
Oh yeah, there really is. There really is. And like I said, you know what? I don't care what a person does, what you enjoy, as long as you're not hurting kids and kicking puppies, we're fine.
I like the analogy of kicking puppies. I was about to say kicking puppies, drowning kittens, or doing anything bad to animals. We're cool. I like your style.
Exactly. Don't be mean to animals. Don't be mean to kids. We're golden.
Oh my goodness. And I will say this, and it's so funny too, because I remember, I don't know how far you can go back. It's like, because we talked about like our teenage years and what really peaks us as teens, and then we get into adults and we really get to explore and really exemplify ourselves with what we like and the content that we consume, right? I remember as a kid, like the first ever, oh my God, I'm taking everybody back here. The first ever like adult film or adult website I came across, and it was totally by accident. I can't believe I'm going to tell this, but here we go. Like the first ever like site I remember was girlshuntinggirls.com. And I don't even know if it's still out today, Amazon, but here's the thing. It was a site where it was just based off, there would be like girls in a van and they would pick up the girl or they would do whatever. And then we would have a sex scene at this house, whether it be girl on girl on girl or girl on girl. It was girlshuntinggirls.com. The preference is boom, go in there, pick up the girl, and then we have a sex scene. Simple, very simplicity at the time, but it was something.
Oh yeah, it was a lot to watch. At the time, it was intense. You were oh my God, this is what we're watching?
Yep. Exactly. It was intense. Like my 14-year-old brain lost my mind. Like I'm like, all right, here we go. But that also, yes. Do you remember like a lot of those stuff, like the Cinemax stuff? Do you like remember seeing a lot of that stuff back in the day and how we really evolved to what we are now, right?
Oh my God. We went from hiding porn under your mattress and watching it in pixelation through the fucking snow screen.
Yeah.
To it readily available, stored on your hard drive, on your computer, your phone, whatever you prefer. We've gone leaps and bounds through the evolution of porn, and I think it's beautiful. It makes me super happy because you back in the day you couldn't reach out to your fans. Like they had to mail you a letter, if they wanted anything, and that took. It could take 3 months to, get a scene done that you might be wanted to see. But now it's a click away, and it could take 20 minutes, 3 days. You can get it quicker. And it's that instant gratification that we've really evolved to. And I think it's beautiful. I love being able to interact with people immediately instead of having to send a letter out.
Freaking carrier pigeon up in here.
Right?
Yes.
Watching it on VHS and shit.
Oh my god, that all right. So all right, I'll tell this because this one bringing up VHS here, folks. Yes, we had the old VHS tape. Stick it on in that friggin' VHS player, for God's sake. I remember as a kid, and I tempted to, but I didn't because I'm a good boy. So I went to Hollywood Video with my mom at the time. Yes, Hollywood Video, which is no longer around, which is the equivalent of what Blockbuster was. So I remember going into Hollywood Video. This is when I lived on Long Island, New York, and I remember I'm looking through the movies. Okay, what do we want to rent? What do we want to buy? And I saw at the corner of my eye, and I visualized right on that son of a gun. It was Spider Babe, which I remember seeing late night on Cinemax. And for those that don't know, Spider Babe was the porn parody of Spider-Man. So think of it like this is 02, 03, ladies and gentlemen, when Spider-Man was big, when Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, William Dafoe, everybody, like James Franco, like everybody, like Spider-Man had just come out. Chad Kroger and Josie Scott of Saliva, I'm talking about Hero, for those that remember that song. Like that was really, really big at the time. I remember seeing it. I'm like, oh my God. And I almost thought about sneaking in and putting into the buggy that my mom and I had because we were looking at some films, but I didn't because I was like, no, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it. But I'm like, and I also thought in my young brain, they're probably going to repeat this again on Cinemax. I'll just wait till that. But anyway, I digress. Don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. Don't sneak porn into your mom's buggy. Don't do that. But at the end, but at the end of the day, stuff like that from where we were, and Spider-Babe's a great movie nonetheless, but from where we were 20 years ago to where we are now, it's an amazing come-up and experience.
Oh yeah. It really, really is. And I can't say it enough. I love it. Because interacting with people, like getting to interact with you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
The effort it would have taken for us to get together like this would have been astronomical. You know, like it would have been so hard. But now we can do it with a click of a button and we're right here and we get to interact with each other and it's beautiful.
Well, I'm happy to be right here with you, Miss Amazon Lee. So thank you very much for those kind sentiments. But I agree wholeheartedly with you. I mean, it's so funny with the way technology is, and some people say pros and cons of it, but this is one of the main pros that we get to see in technologically and the technological standpoint. But I will say this, man, because we go from looking how adult entertainment is and content creation, especially with Amazon Lee over here. We mentioned your many of films, but I got to say, going back to Coven for a second here, like really incorporating the boxing and the wrestling type of things, like for you, is that something you would want to do more of just because, again, the sensuality and just getting physical? But a lot of people don't realize like the adrenaline rush and how cool that is because it's the end of the day, it's combat, but also at the same time, it's playful. And there's something about that is just so awe-inspiring and fun. You know what I'm saying? Really elegant, sensual.
Yeah, I want to do more of it. I actually, I did a funny video just the other day that I haven't put out yet. I'm doing the editing and stuff like that. And it was just a quick, like, I'm at the grocery store and I saw a pumpkin. And I'm like, oh, it's fall. Let's crush pumpkins. So I made a pumpkin crushing video just by myself in my living room because I could, you know, and I love stuff like that. So crush videos and more wrestling and boxing and lifting, all of it. It's all going to keep going on because it is too much fun.
Can I just say, and you're making me smile by talking about crushing things here, and I'm going to put this into the forefront for everybody, because there's so many different categories that are very popular, but this one's very underrated. How awesome is it to see, like, there's a lot of guys and a lot of gals that like watching people just like crush watermelons or squish pumpkins. Like a lot of people don't realize like that's a lot of people's fetishes, squishing balloons or something like people don't realize like how underrated people do enjoy that.
Yeah, and they really enjoy it. Like it's not, I mean, it's not, everybody's joy does not have to come from sex.
Right.
When it comes to content creating. Like I don't have to have sex with Coven for it to be a great video. You know, yes, we're doing adult things, but boxing is adult. It's just not sexually adulted. And I love it. And the fact that like some people get so much joy out of squishing balloons or, you know, crushing, you know, watermelons. And let me tell you, it's not easy to crush a pumpkin. I'm gonna be real honest. Like that's a video. It's only gonna be like 5 minutes long. So I'm just probably gonna put it on my OnlyFans. But it's not easy. But it's so much fun. Like when you finally get it it's so gratifying. So I can understand why people like to watch.
It is. And I think what's cool about it too, as well, is I mean, when we had Jerry Springer back in the day, God rest his soul, when he used to see the guys and the gals who were like obsessed with food, and there was that one woman that got joy just sitting on the washing machine and like got pleasure like that. Like there's stuff like that that's funny and it's from an entertainment standpoint, but God bless you if you love it. But also crushing stuff, like you mentioned, pumpkins, I can only imagine. My goodness, trying to crush a pumpkin. But there's a lot of stuff like that that's like very intriguing and very interesting. I remember, I'll take everybody back, MTV True Life, right? There was True Life, I'm a Dominatrix. Yes, they actually touched upon I'm a Dominatrix. And you see the guy in the ball and gag, and he's loving being with the mistress, and there's something that they get off on that, which is very appealing. But also at the same time, if they find it fun, do the damn thing, man. Because a lot of people don't realize like how popular that industry is through popular culture, through TV, through everything that we have with our surroundings, so to speak. We really get to see what a lot of different things are. And I think it's great, not only just the fact that we love it, but we get to explore it. And I'm going to ask a follow-up to that, because you, from where you were, as we were talking about like our teenage years and how we explore and how we expand and we evolve, the 3 E's, if you will. How awesome is it to see just where you were, like thinking back from what you started to like to now what you're exploring into as we get older and really build our foundation? How awesome is it just to see what your likes and your kinks and your preferences is over the years?
Oh yeah, my kinks and my likes have really expanded, and I'm really like I'm really into BDSM. I love
Okay.
it. I love ball gags. I love handcuffs. And I mean, it sounds a little cliche, but I do. I love those things. I love getting a spanking because I was a good girl. Like, you know, like it's fun. And I really learned to enjoy, and it's to touch on another note, not only is it enjoyable, but it's furthered my ability to speak my mind and be blunt and honest when it comes to everyday life, being, kinky and being into BDSM. Because if I'm not honest, if I don't, vocalize my feelings, my wants, my needs, I can end up hurt. So being able to communicate better in the bedroom has really helped my whole life. I'm a lot more honest. I'm a lot more well spoken. And it's been an amazing change since I was little, when I couldn't say anything and I was meek. And, I mean, yes, I'm a giant, but I was meek. I was very scared. And now I'm not. I voice what I want. If I want to be on top, I'm going to throw you over. I'm going to be on top. If I want you to go down on me, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to tell you that I want it to happen. I'm not going to be like, well, maybe if I, do this, maybe he'll get the hint. No, I speak my mind now and I get what I want. Not forcefully, but, because I spoke my mind, I'm more likely to get the enjoyment that I desire. And before, I was never like that. In my 20s, I was never like that.
I think, first of all, I like how spanking and everything goes into just being more blunt. And I can concur with you on this, because it's like, you know what you want, but also I think as we get older, and I'll equate this to the sensuality vibes over here, Miss, I'm outspoken and I speak my mind. You go, girl. But I look at it from a stance like this too as well. You have to be that within any part of your life. I think what's great about, like you mentioned, consent earlier. I mean, there's so many different pleasures. There's desires, there's wants, there's needs, however you want to identify and classify it. But I think what's great about it too as well is if you can make that be aware, and especially communication, all forms of life and facets, including sex. Not only does it make it worth having, not only does it make it fun, but it also brings like the partners and the friendships and relationships stronger together. And that's really what you want.
Oh yeah, me and my partner have really bonded and gotten very close because we both are very honest. If we want something, we say we want it. Like, I'd like it next time if you could do this for me. I'd really enjoy it. That'd really get my engine revving, like things like that. And it's made our sex life incredible. And it's made it a lot easier for us to discuss, how do I put it? Like everyday bullshit. And so learning to speak your mind and everything is so great, but always consent. I have to put that in everything. Always consent. Like, I've taught everybody, like people are like, oh, well, I just want this. No, you have to get consent for that. Please don't touch me.
Mm-hmm. Like friggin', I just imagine them trying to spin it. Well, what if we could do it like this? And they're trying to like spin the body and just like to say we want in this. Like, no, man. Like friggin' ask me before you start doing shit.
Exactly.
It's one of those things too. It's like when you're in your DMs, like you mentioned, people like they want to hook up or do a scene and collab because collaborations is a great form. But it's like when you start something with like what you're doing or hi, and you just want to like take it that route. It's like, can y'all be more specific and be like, hey, I want to, just professionalism, form a sentence, not just one word or hey or what have you. I think that goes a long way too as far as communications, as far as the business side of things goes.
Oh yeah, and again, BDSM really has helped me make, be more professional in the way I speak to people when I get in somebody else's DMs, like I'm like, hey, this is Amazon Leee, I've seen your work. I'm really interested. I hope this, finds you well. Have a wonderful day. Please get back to me. Here's my email address. Things like that. Like I've learned to communicate so much better with people.
It does. And I couldn't agree more with you on that. You said it so beautifully. And I mean, I look at it from a stance too as well. I mean, if you look at it, like it's so interesting to see just the dating habits and how we were, like we mentioned, like back in the day, like I mentioned earlier, the stuff like the Spider Babe in 2000s. I mean, folks, we had MTV Room Raiders, for God's sake, where you did when you were in the van and the three girls wanted to date the guy or what have you, and you had to get the freaking spy kit, for God's sake. And here's a porno in the freaking VHS tape. Oh, here's some porn stuff over there. We got to put on the spy kit for this. We've gravitated so much from dating and friendships to being on a reality-based standpoint where we're dating people based on their rooms to where we are now. There's such a drastic and seismic shift, so to speak.
Oh yeah, because people's rooms can lie. Let me tell you. You really want to know somebody, look in their medicine cabinet.
Oh my goodness. Okay now.
but let's be clear. Crazy fuck's good.
Amen to that. Okay, I like your style even more. Okay, well, first of all right, we'll put this into the forefront. This crazy fuck's good over here. I'm going to say this from the male side of things. A lot of us guys like the crazy chicks. Good kind of crazy. We'll put that into the forefront. Good kind of crazy, so to speak. Good kind of crazy. But I also look at it like this. I mean, we've come so far from, I'll put another one out there. For those that remember Next, which was on MTV, like oh my God, like you would spend with them like a few minutes and then just next. Like the guy doesn't even get off the tour bus next. I'm like, fucking cold and callous bitch. Like what the fuck is wrong with these people?
Again, that's with people and their the way they just look at you.
Right.
Like you don't give people an opportunity. I give everybody an opportunity. Even if you come in my inbox with, hey,
sup, yo,
I'm like, hey, and if all you do is exchange haze every day for a month, I'm blocking you.
I mean, like,
but I gave you the chance though. You had an option.
Oh my goodness. Maybe they're singing friggin' No Doubt. Hey, baby. Hey, 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 hey. You know what I'm saying? No, but they're not doing that. It's one of those things where it's just, I don't get people. And I think that's the unfortunate part about it. We mentioned content creators and how you talk to people, but that goes in everyday life. And okay, I will say it like this. We talk about consent. I've done it maybe a few times, consensual nonetheless, whether it be with a female partner, what have you, an interaction. But you don't send a pic of your genitals or a pic of your private parts to people unsolicited. Like, y'all got to stop that. Like, what are we doing here?
Right? Do you know how many people I had one time where I was on Instagram and this couple decided to video chat me.
Okay.
While exploring each other's genitals. I was like, I didn't consent to this. No. Like, just because I make porn and all kinds of, other things does not mean that you can just unsolicitedly send me your genitals.
Okay, I'm going to put an image into your head, and I think this will make you and the listeners laugh. It's like Chat Roulette, that episode of South Park. It's guy jerking off, guy jerking off, guy jerking off, guy. That's what it is. It's literally what it is.
Yeah. I don't know why people. I don't know why people think it's completely acceptable to send unsolicited, genital pictures. Like, I don't even send them to my partner unless I'm like, hey, babe, get ready for a spicy pic. Like I still rarely do it because You know, like if that's all you ever do to people, it makes it less special.
Right. Like
If you're just passing out dick like Halloween candy, what's the point?
that analogy, and especially with Halloween coming up, I like it. I love that. I love that. But to add up to your point, Miss Halloween Candy over here, you go to like an extent that I mentioned myself, folks. I don't do it often. I think I've probably only done it like a couple times consensually, to put that emphasis again. But at the same time, if you do it like all day, every day, 24/7, 7 days a week, it's not special. It's just like, oh, here's my dick. Like, what is so special about that? That's just like, oh, here's my dick. It's like, boom, here it is. Whoop, there it is, if you will, if you're tag teaming. But that's the thing too. You have to make it special. Just, you don't want to just go boom, that forward with it. Sometimes forwardness with how you express yourself can work, but not that forward.
Yes, not that forward. If you ever are questioning if she wants a picture of your genitals, it's always no. We're like, okay, it's like when your cat brings you a dead bird or a mouse. Yes, we understand you're proud of it. We understand you like it. But as soon as you turn away, we're throwing it in the garbage.
Right. And I think that also kind of goes for guys too. Like mind you, we love y'all. We really do. We love us, our females. We really do. But if you come in and just like, here's some of a JJ, I'm like, how about hi?
Right? Like, yeah. No, it goes for everybody.
Yes.
You know, I'm not sending unsolicited pictures either. Like, because it's wrong and it's not consensual.
Right. It reminds me of, and I might be old school in my thinking, and I may be truly, and like we talk about, I'm the guy, love hard, respect harder, much like a lot of people I'm sure can concur with these sentiments. But here's my thing. With Tinder, it was fun, but if you really look at Tinder, it's like swiping left and swiping right. It's like, okay, I don't want her, I don't want her. It's very like stigmatized of how you want to find and meet somebody, number one. But number two, it's a fucking hookup. Like, okay, I get this hookup, but what else? What comes from stimulation of just trying to find that person and mating? It's a fucking sex thing. Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't get into it. I tried once because my buddy said, I'm like, I can't get into it. Like, no. This is stupid. It's so stupid.
No, I looked over my friend's shoulder while she was swiping Tinder, and I did it just because it gives me a giggle. Like, I've never gotten on Tinder at all. And my thing is like, oh, let me read their bio. Like, did they say some off the cuff stuff? Like, that's all it was for me. And that was looking over somebody else's shoulder. Like, I have no interest in just the meat market.
No.
And it goes both ways. Like, I don't think, not every man's just out, meat marketing, looking at, you might, find some boobs attractive, but you're going to eventually want to know what's behind the boobs.
It's like, all right, I'm going to make a comparison in a second here, but it's like when you're on Facebook. First of all, why the hell is Facebook like a Facebook dating thing? Like, really, why are we? It's like almost like Tinder, and it's like you're swiping left, right. What are we doing here? Like, the point of Facebook is to connect with friends or like family, and not. Well, Facebook has become bullshit anyway, because I'm going to say this right now, folks. Stop fucking talking about politics. I'm tired of fucking this over politics because it ruins fucking relationships. Stop fucking doing this over politics. I'm tired of it, goddammit. But why, and that goes on Twitter too, but why does Facebook have to add a dating thing? This is not what this is supposed to be about.
No, and it's awful. I tried it. It's awful. And when people ask you what you do for a living, and I mean, when people first ask, I always tell them I'm a dog groomer. Okay. Or I'm a chicken tender. I tend to chickens. I'm a cock farmer, something like that. Because I don't know what to tell people. Like, how do you even go, yeah, by the way, I do porn, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
I'll raise you on that one. And the reason why I will raise you on that one, and the reason I'll put that into the forefront is, for those that don't know, besides what I do out with my On the Mic with Mike series and the podcast auspices, which I love because I get to meet great people like this one over here. But outside of that, I work for Lingerie Fighting Championships and I do the podcast for them. So a gig that I love, but how do you also explain like Lingerie Fighting Championships? Because people will open it up and I explain what it is and they're like, Lingerie Fighting Championships, because there are some people, and we talk about normalizing here, people will look at it, it's like, women are fighting their lingerie. Yes, it's a form of entertainment. and they literally go into it. There's wrestlers and MMA. Like it's a form of entertainment. The perfect example. Look at the LFL. The Lingerie Football League was women who were in their lingerie, but you're still playing a game of football. You're
right,
still
clashing each other.
Exactly, and that's what boggles mine. So it's like, how do I get out of saying the stigmas? I concur with you with the talk room and everything, and then it's like, oh, by the way, yes, I concur.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, luckily with my partner, I didn't have to. He didn't know what I did when he met me, but we met at a meet and greet, and it was really funny because I was with Gemini. And we did a meet and greet where we just hung out and we're, spending time, and people were like, all there. And my partner ended up being there. And that's our first ever meeting. And I decided to take a bath, and he washed my back. But there was no adult anything going on except for he decided to wash my back while I was in the bathtub. And of course with consent. There was consent there. Only a little bit, though, because I wasn't allowing him to do anything else. But he knew that I was in a lifestyle and was okay with it. And the more we talked, I explained to him what I did for a living, and he wasn't bothered by it at all. He's like, well, work is work. He goes, I'm never going to come up to your job and tell you what to do, on set. He goes, but I don't want you to come to my job and tell me how to bake a pizza. I was like, don't worry. I'll never show up at your job and tell you how to pick up a box. Nothing. I won't be over there like, lift with your knees.
Okay.
But,
and I like your partner for that, because first and foremost, I could tell non-judgmental, and that's how it should be. And I love that. Much love and happiness to you both. But I look at it like this, and I can say this. Folks, I love who I interview, but I got to say the adult entertainments, again, including this one over here, with the utmost sincerity and respect, it's the funness of just meeting great people like this, just because it's so free and it's liberating, but also at the same time, they're down-to-earth, badass people and bomb-ass people in the most sincere respect. Again, you have to look at it like that, because putting yourself in a non-judgmental role and a non-judgmental surroundings really goes a long way. And I look at it from a stance like this. It's like Twitter is more open to the adult entertainment side of things, but I always kind of scoff at Instagram, because I'm like, what really violates the community guidelines? Like, what really violates the community guidelines to what we see? I understand community guidelines, but sometimes I'm like, is it really violating the community guidelines? If that makes a lick of sense.
One time I violated the guidelines on Instagram.
Yes.
Because I had, it was pre-knee surgery, where I would use kinetic tape to tape up my knees.
Right.
Well, somebody asked me what it was, so I posted pictures of my knees, and they were all wrinkled because, like the kinetic tape, you have to put it on a certain way and it makes your skin wrinkled.
Yes.
They told me that I was violating their algorithms. I'm like, what are you talking about? Those are my knees.
Excuse me while I have the anesthesiology tape and all that stuff.
Right? I'm like, those are knees. And it took me forever to fight that picture. And I was dying on that cross right there. I was up on that soapbox, fucking not taking nothing. I was like, you're going to let me post this picture. If I can cover up my nipples with little X's and you can see everything else, you're definitely letting me put my knees up there.
Well, here's the thing as well, too. And first of all, we talk about the pros of social media. Here's the cons. Ladies and gentlemen, a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old should not be on social media at that age, just because I'm sorry. Like, look, I know we're in that day and age, but a 12-year-old should not be having a TikTok. A 12-year-old should be on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Stop it. And the reason I put that into the forefront, when I first got my cell phone, the flip phones. Yes, we'll take everybody back to remember the old flip phones? Gosh darn it. Yes. When I'm in high school.
I'm a Nokia girl.
All right. Okay. I was the other side of things. I was Hello Moto up in here with my Motorola. For those who remember Hello Moto, like when I was in junior high, right? Like I was 14 going 15 and I had a cell phone. I was so over the moon. First time I got a cell phone, the flip phone. And then in high school later on, I started getting the Android, like 2010 or whatever the Android came out. But the point being, folks, luxury. It's a luxury. Like,
right?
You don't have to have a cell phone because, and I always put it to you like this. It's like when you're in school, if you need to get a hold of somebody, go down to the fucking main office. Like we all used to before phones. People just don't understand. Like you can't live without the phone. It's like that show 90s House that was on MTV for a short time with Lance Bass. and Christina Milian. And it was like kids nowadays, the nowadays Gen Zers, so to speak, however you want to define it, these millennials, Gen Z, whatever you want to call it. I'm a millennial, 90s baby over here. But the point being, it's like you stick them in a house with just like fax machines and like old school phones, like the Zach Morris type of freaking phone, for God's sake. They don't know
Rotary dial.
Yes.
Dial.
Yes, that too. They don't know what the fuck to do. They don't know what the fuck to do.
Oh yeah. No, I got into a car with a kid, into a U-Haul with a 12-year-old because I had to, move some stuff, and it was my friend's kid.
Right.
She was like, "How do you roll down the window?" I was like, "It's the handle." She goes, "Do I push it?" I was like, you crank it. She goes, "This is so old." I'm like,
they would not survive. They would not survive. Like, all right, we mentioned the internet. We mentioned the adult entertainment industry. Like, when X Videos and X Hamster and all those streaming sites come out, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about here. Obviously, you know what I'm talking about, Miss Amazon Lee, and many of the streamings that we have now where we could see adult films for free and whatnot. Streaming has become such the rage. When we were kids, we'd have to go to the website, and if you wanted to see more of that 30-second to 1 minute clip, you had to pay and become a subscriber and get a subscription to the fucking website. It's like I'm watching Naughty America, and there's like My Friend's Hot Mom or whatever freaking thing it was at the time, and I get a 30-second to 1 minute clip of just what the teaser is that leads to the sex and then to the cum shot, for God's sake. It's like, oh, if you want to pay it, pay this and this. We don't have to do that really anymore because that has gone out of style. We have to usually actually pay for a subscription and pay to go to the fucking website, where you really don't have to do anymore with how streaming is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And young people don't know what to do with that. They're like, "Wait a minute, you mean you didn't stream?" No.
We didn't have to. We had to buy shit. Like, I remember.
Yeah, you had to purchase a magazine. You had to purchase the VHS, the DVD, like if you wanted to see some adult content, you really had to work at it.
Yep.
You didn't come upon that stuff by accident, back in the day.
Yeah, like I mentioned with the Girl Something Girls, like, again, losing my mind. But number two, I'm like, I'm not paying to watch the whole 20 minutes of this. I'll take the appetizer. I'll live with the appetizer.
Right? I have a good imagination. It's fine.
I know what's going on. I can imagine this health clash. Gosh darn it! But yeah, no, it's one of those things too. That's how it was. And I mean, if we want to look into another example, for God's sake, like when the internet was starting, and like MySpace. Before we had like the Facebook and everything, like we had MySpace. It was simple with your 10 friends. I mean, even if you look at CDs, like I think the last CD I think I ever bought was probably like 10 years ago, to be completely honest with you, because I wanted to have it in my collection. But at the same time, if you say that now, why don't you just download or stream it? Because do you understand when you're a kid and you go to like the Wiz or Best Buy for the first time, or a Sam Goody or a Circuit City, like how awesome it is to go purchase that CD? When you go into like the little friggin' area where you put the headphones on and you can sample like the CD and say, "Hey, do I want to buy this or not?" Do you like people don't understand like the feeling like that was before streaming?
Yeah.
They would not get it.
The tactileness of the whole thing, like it was fantastic. Like I love vinyl records.
Right.
Vinyl records, the sound they make, vinyl records make my heart happy.
I like your stuff. Okay.
I go old with it.
Not a problem. I totally understand. Hey, my grandparents, God rest their soul, I remember going down to my house, and my dad my grandfather had like the Perry Comos and like all those like CDs, like not CDs, vinyls, excuse me, and the records. Like I remember distinctly seeing those records like all lined up together and just boom right there. I remember. I get it. So and a lot of, like, how do you think I feel now when you see like NSYNC is on vinyl and all this stuff, like freaking Bye is on vinyl, for God's sake? You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. I totally get it. And people don't understand just the overall, not classic and nostalgia of it, but just the importance of just how beautiful a vinyl actually is. To really,
and the effort it took. Do you know it's expensive to make a vinyl record?
Yeah.
And it's an art. Because one little hiccup and your whole record is screwed up.
It's like when people thought Eminem was nuts for re-releasing the Slim Shady LP on a cassette. I'm like, you know how many people are going to want to get that on cassette because friggin' the Slim Shady LP is dope? Like, it's the Slim
Right?
Shady LP. Yep. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's what we had, ladies and gentlemen, and we had so much. Especially, it's like when you're a kid, and I'll make another, this is kind of sexual reference, but it's like when you're a kid and you're watching TRL, and I remember it as a kid when it came up because I was like, all right, he's naked. When you see D'Angelo untitled How Does It Feel for like the first time, and it's on fucking TRL or BET, and again, because I remember the Voodoo album, friggin' D'Angelo, who again, great R&B songs, one of my favorite. I'm very eclectic in my mix. I love me some D'Angelo. You gotta understand, when you're like an 8-year-old and you're trying to figure out why this dude's not wearing clothes and he's singing Untitled How Does It Feel, it's something when you're a kid because you're trying to figure this out. But I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go with it. The dude's not wearing any clothes and he's singing Untitled How Does It Feel, and I'll allow it because that song's fucking awesome and it still holds up 24 years later.
Yeah, it does. It still holds up, and it still provokes all the same little feelings that it did when it first came out. I'm like, oh my God.
Yep. And it's like when I'll make one more reference. It's like when you're watching 106 in Park with AJ and Free back in the day. For those that remember 106 in Park, before Bow Wow took that shit over. Before Bow Wow, with AJ and Free, when Luther Vandross, God rest his soul, was on, and he's promoting "Take You Out," which is a song about chivalry and just "Can I take you out tonight?" Beautiful song. One of his many great songs. And then friggin' the next video on the countdown is 112, Ice Cream. You know what I mean? Peaches and cream. And then you have friggin' Age asking, so Luther, what do you think of that song? It's like, oh. Because again, he's talking about chivalry and how importance of this song and niceness. And then you got Ice Cream, know what I mean? Peaches and cream. Love the song. Love 112. Yeah. But it's a different type of vibe with the songs. And it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, it's a real different vibe.
It is, but that's what we get, folks. Different vibes, different variety. And that's what makes the adult entertainment industry beautiful. And you should definitely check out the beautiful Amazon Leee with Coven Studios and many of her sensual and amazing films. I'm really glad not only did we get a chance to talk about them today, but I get a chance to talk with you for round 2. And Amazon Leee, I definitely want to have you back on for round 3. It's such a pleasure to catch up with you, and it's been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, you too. I always enjoy talking to you, and I can't wait till for round 3.
I got you, man. We go round and round we go. Where I stop, nobody knows. Friggin' I'll go friggin' whole every little thing I do, friggin' soul for real up in here. Yes, man. Okay. So you're I'm gonna say my Candy Rain, for God's sake. Anyway, Candy Rain and everything I do aside. I always love asking this question. I can't remember if I asked it this last time, but I think it's very important in today's discussion. For you, being the adult star that you are, the content creator that you are, what advice would you give to the content creators starting to get into the adult side of things, the entertainment world? What advice would you give them for people who are on the come up, so to speak?
Always get your 2257. Always. And shared content is best if you're not getting paid for it. Because if you don't have that paperwork, you don't have anything.
Oh, I love that. First of all, that was great. I can't top that. That was amazing. But no, like that's very, very true. Consent, business folks, have the business mindset, get your papers, get tested, and be safe. I like your style. Okay. All righty now. Friggin' dying over here with that sentiment. Adhere to those words, ladies and gentlemen. So before we close this out, man, you were on the social media front doing your thing. Amazon Leee, where can we follow you? Twitter, Instagram, the platforms. The floor is yours. Go ahead. You
can do Twitter, that Amazon Leee 702, Instagram, Amazon Leee 702. I don't have one for Facebook. I'm also on, what else am I on?
Many Vids, OnlyFans.
Many Vids, OnlyFans, clips for sale, AP clips, all that good stuff. Just look for me. I'm easy to find. I'm a big girl.
And you are an awesome girl at that, ma'am. Please go out of your way and check out Amazon Leee. The links will be in the description with your 702 self, where my girl's at from the front to back. I see you, girl. All right now, which first of all, just as an aside, I'm going to say this right now. Here's how old I feel. The fact that it's been 20 plus years since 702 released songs like Stilo, Get It Together, and friggin' Where My Girl's At. Stop it. Stop it. Fucking, I remember when Where My Girls At came on TRL, and I remember it coming on the radio in '99. I remember Stilo because Cousin Skeeter, that Nickelodeon, that was the theme song for Cousin Skeeter. I remember Get It Together because of Sister Sister, ladies and gentlemen. Stop it. Stop it. Like, this goes with Brandy too, because yesterday or the day before, like the 30-year anniversary of her first album, like I Want to Be Down is 30 years fucking old. Are you kidding me right now?
Oh my God.
I know. See?
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a trip, man. Then the other friggin' day I saw this because I remember when it came out too as well, and this will be a tie-in to Brandy for a brief moment here. Like, you gotta understand, when Brandy and Monica first came out with The Boy Is Mine, just because that song was bomb, number one, but also number two, you have two great songstresses like Brandy and Monica, and number three, the fact that they got into a fight before they had that freaking performance at the VMAs, and they still kept it with class and professionalism. Knowing that now makes it even so much better. Like 26 years of that now, and you flipping kidding me right now? Like, again, they don't make them like they used to, and I love music as a whole, but that stuff right there, classics, timeless records. Alrighty. When on that note, I will say this, my 702 Amiga. Y'all can check out this show, Mike Larkin 92 YouTube. Subscribe. Starting this bad boy up. We are at 1K subscribers. Let's keep it going up. I appreciate y'all, and I love y'all, and I appreciate the support. Check me out, SM Show under MCL92, M Larkin MB, Larkin _92 on the Instagram front. Everything will be in the description, including Amazon Leee and all her amazing work, content, and just overall awesomeness and bluntness. No bitch-assness, but bluntness. So, Amazon Leee, do you have any final words to your fans, people, your supporters? Let them know, man.
I love you all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me, dealing with me, and enjoying my content.
Hell to the yeah. And as I always say with each and every one of these shows, life is an art form. We're all applying our crafts. Continue to apply your craft in amazing fashion. And as always, folks, remember the message, because if you don't, I'm going to tell you anyway. Beauty, strength, and dominance are three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Amazon Leee, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Come talk to me. I love the way you're on to me. Looking at you, looking like you're wondering if we're here for the same reason. And now that you wanna lay in the sun, getting love drunk, sticking like honey. Yeah, I bet you're here for some fun with that someone, feeling that something. If you're looking for a good time, honey, I'm right here. If you're looking for the good life, good vibes, honey, I'm right here. And I'm waiting for you. And I love you in your summer skin. Looking at you, looking like you're into it. 'Cause we're here for the same reason. Yeah, I just wanna lay in the sun, getting love drunk, sticking like honey. Like honey. Yeah, 'cause I'm just here for some fun with that someone, feeling that something. That's something. If you're looking for a good time, honey, I'm right here. If you're looking for the good life, good vibes, honey, I'm right here. And I'm